Lauren, Hemp and Niamh Charles, thank you very much for joining us on the Sports Agents. I'm sorry you've just got me. Gabby's off hobnobbing, doing something or other, so I apologise for that in advance. What's the atmosphere like in camp at the moment, Lauren?
Yeah, it's really good. Everyone's really positive, really confident. Obviously, we've had a week training last week. Very competitive. It's nice to get back with the team and everyone back together. And we all know the job this summer, and we're all ready to work hard to hopefully go as far as possible.
At this stage, bearing in mind the season that you've had and going into a tournament, then Niamh, how intense does Sarina Wiegman want this training to be?
To be fair, the last week and this week has been really intense, but in a good way. It's nice to, when you're then in the games, you know that you've put the work in, and I think it was the perfect time to do it. We'd had a bit of a downtime after the season, and then it was time to ramp up again and work hard together. So it was definitely, a lot of running, but a lot of competitive games as well, which also brings out that competitive nature in the squad. So it's definitely needed, and I think we've all really enjoyed it.
Does she want you smashing into each other?
There's definitely a line for sure, and not in training, but I think in terms of the feistiness, in terms of will to win, to make you work harder, that's sort of a habit that we want to sort of build on, so that it just becomes natural, and it has been competitive in the best way.
You both, when I said just want you both to smash into each other, you both gave each other just a little.
We smash into each other, but we don't do it to anyone else.
Does there are 7 debutants in this squad. I know there's been lots made of who isn't there in the build-up to this, but you've got 13 of the squad who I think were in the last Euro squad, and you've got 7 debutants. So how does that change the atmosphere, I suppose, around the place?
Yeah, I think it's like a great mix. I think it's important to have really experienced players, ones who've played in championship finals, World Cup finals. But it's also important to have that blend as well. Like, there's so much talent coming through the youth system, and I think you've seen that recently. Like, Michelle's come on like massively. Like, as soon as she stepped foot on the pitch, she scored a goal. And I think like we've got so many young players who can change games. I think you've seen that in the WSL a lot this season as well, and it's important we have that blend as well, because like they're so creative, but it's also important to have that experience. Because obviously when times are tough and the pressure's on, you look to people like that who's going to sort of lead the way.
I mean, you mentioned Michelle there, but are there, and look, you're all aware of each other, I appreciate that, played against each other or maybe teammates with each other, but when you get day-to-day training with some of the newer members, are you going, blimey, I didn't know they could do that, or I didn't know they were that good, or they've surprised you in some way?
I think it's really enjoyable. Obviously, I play with Aggie a lot, so I know that about Aggie, but I hadn't come across Mish and trained with her every day. And I think now you see in training, it's really nice to just look at everyone's individual journey as much as we're all in it together. Like, to see Mish come into her first camp, just fit in seamlessly, score a worldie, and then come back here, and she's so confident in training and she's holding her own and doing really, really well. It's so nice to see that, one, we create an environment where she feels comfortable to do that, and what an asset she is to the team. And it's so exciting that we know we've got that in our sort of arsenal, and she's getting better and better, and she's an absolute beast.
Yeah, I mean, you two are great mates. It's interesting you talk about the journey thing. How much are you two obviously aware of each other's journey? How much of you are you aware of everybody's journeys? And the reason I ask that, and it may seem a bizarre person to quote here, but Paul Warne, who used to be the Rotherham manager, told me once, when he took over at Rotherham, he realised none of his players knew why their teammates were playing football, what they were doing it for, how they got into it. So he had this big barbecue where they could all meet each other and families and stuff. Mm-hmm. Are you aware of each other's journeys?
I mean, like, we've been having a lot of conversations. Like, obviously I haven't been here like as of recent, but like we have a lot of conversations with like the psychologist, and we all sit down together with like and just try and develop the team, because obviously we want to know more about each other, because not only does that help off the pitch, but when times are tough, it helps it on the pitch. And yeah, it's important to know why people do this and like the journey they've been on, because everyone's is going to look so different, and it helps you understand people more. So yeah, we've definitely worked hard in that. I feel like that's just as important as the stuff on the pitch is all the stuff we do off of it.
I was going to ask you then, why you do it, Lauren, but maybe Niamh can tell me why you do it, and then you can tell me why Niamh does it.
Maybe Lauren should guess first, but no, I think I do it first and foremost for my family, and sort of my journey started when I was so young, and they're the people that have been there the whole way through. And like now I'm an adult, I realise how much my parents sacrificed driving me here, there, and everywhere. And it's when you win those trophies, they're the people that I look to straight away, because I realise it's not just for me. The people I want to celebrate it with is my family, but also my teammates who I've like worked so hard. And like last week we were just in the hurt locker all week, and that's why I do it. I think to create those memories with my family and with the teammates that are completely priceless.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much the same. Like Niamh said, our families did make so many sacrifices when we were younger. Like, I remember my mum coming home from work every day and having to cart me up to training about 40 minutes away every other day. And like it is at times like when you win trophies and things like that you do look back and remember all the sacrifices that they did make. And like I started playing football because I loved the game, and I've never stopped loving it, and that's what sort of led me to get as far as I have done. And I think that's important for me to always remember why I fell in love with the game. And even though like the pressure has increased and like the competition has increased, like it's always important to look back and remember why you started and why you continue to do the thing.
You do it for the pressure as well, though, don't you? You wouldn't be in it if you didn't relish.
Yeah, I feel like all of us like love the pressure. Like I think one thing that's so good about this team is we thrive under pressure. And I think like playing in the biggest games are the ones you want to play, and they're the ones that excite you the most. Like I wake up every day, like we have a game and I'm like excited. Like I'm nervous, but I'm excited. And that's like one of the best feelings that I have in football, is knowing that I've got an exciting game to go to.
Every parent that's just listened to this bit will now have paused it, will grab their kids and rewind it so that their kids can listen to all the sacrifices they make ferrying their kids around to sport. What's the hurt locker?
Well, I just think like it's you have to earn it. Like this is such a physical game, and the demands are getting more and more year on year, tournament on tournament, and every team's getting better. And I think you have to be physically ready, but it's not just physically the hurt locker. It's putting yourself through those stressful moments where you're physically, dying, but you have to think mentally, you have to connect as a team, you have to think tactically, and it's those moments that, like at this level, will make the biggest difference. They're just little 1% that you can't just switch it on a game day. It really has to be trained. Those intense moments, recreated as much as possible within training, so that when it happens in a game, you are ready for it, I think is what I would say.
Do you think, you talk about all the teams improving. I was talking to Izzy Christiansen and Karen Bardsley and Steph Horton the other night, and they were telling me that in some ways it's impossible to compare tournament to tournament now because of the speed and pace of improvement of certainly a lot of other countries across Europe. If we had a little bit of a head start, and when I say we, I mean England, that actually comparing tournament to tournament is harder because of the pace of change. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think like the women's game's evolving so much and so rapidly, especially like over the last few years. And yeah, I mean, every tournament that I've played in has been so different, and like teams peak at different points. And I mean, like us as a group, we've got so much respect for every other team in the competition, and like we look a lot different to what we did a couple of years ago in the European Championships and in the World Cup. But like I feel like we've got the best team that we've got, and a capable squad of going as far as we want to in this tournament. But yeah, I mean, personnel look different, and like people are obviously improving with the game, which is so important. So yeah, each tournament does look different.
Yeah, and go on. Sorry, Niamh, you were going to come in.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say as well, it's not just on the pitch as well. It's the whole thing about development of the game off the pitch as well, in terms of the crowds, in terms of the media. Just everything, the noise around the game as well, that is growing at the same time. So it's not just on the pitch. I think in terms of the spectacle of the tournament as well, I don't know for sure, but I could anticipate that again year on year, just as much as it's growing and evolving so much on the pitch, it's off the pitch as well, which is exactly what we want as well.
So how does the noise, as you say, how does that change it for you? Because does that lead to? Oh, it obviously leads to more stuff like this. At least you're doing dad jokes with Scott on Radio 2, which I'm sure is a highlight, Niamh, of your of your career so far. But how has the noise changed it for you as footballers? Have you had to learn how to do more of this stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I think like over the years, as the women's game has evolved, like obviously there's a lot more on social media, like every game's being publicised everywhere. So I think as players, we've just learned how to control that. Obviously, like different people have got different experiences with social media, and it's important to like find what works for you and like how you get your best out of yourself going into a tournament, and whether that's coming off social media. Like we've had a lot of conversations with a lot of the staff and people who are experienced in them departments about like blocking comments, things like that, just different ways of like working around it so you don't see much outside noise. And
sorry, Laura, is each individual allowed to make their own decision?
Of course, like it's your own choice and what's ever gonna get the best out of yourself in the tournament. And like obviously we want to stay in our bubble and like we want to be the best going into every single game, and so it's important to stay as positive as we can as a group, no matter what happens in games, whether they go well or not. Like we always know that we've got each other, and that's one of the beauties of this team is the togetherness in the squad, and I think that's what helps massively.
You all have to know though, Niamh, don't you? You all have to know who's on it and who's off it, because what you don't want to do is one of you be on it and then say to someone who's off it, honestly, you aren't going to believe what so-and-so has said. And then the other person go, well, thanks very much for that. One of the reasons I'm off it is so I don't hear stuff like that.
I think that's definitely something we've spoke about in previous tournaments as well, just being conscious of other people's decisions, but also even if you are on it, actually being very conscious you err on the side of caution, like as well, as much as you know. If you don't know, don't bring it up as well. Just don't run that risk. And I think that's something to be said for the squad. They're very respectful of each other's decisions, and sort of maybe it's not the way you would do it individually, but you respect the other person and absolutely follow and try and support what they do as well. So everyone feels best prepared in that tournament.
Have you got a big chart up somewhere, like in the dining room or on the front of the bus, that says who's on it and who's off it?
I think to be honest, like a lot, like I don't like none of us. It's kind of like an unwritten rule. Like none of us speak about what we see online, whether someone's on it or not. We just sort of stay in our own little bubble and just try and keep like the group as positive as we can. Like so, I feel like no one really, well, in previous tournaments that I've been in, no one's really brought up things said online because it's just kind of like an unwritten rule.
What's the we talked about the sort of new players coming into the squad and the energy that brings. You're going to have a lot of players who are coming into this squad, of which you're one, Niamh, with big success over the course of the season, with either domestic success with Chelsea or the European success with Arsenal. Do you notice a change in that dynamic around the squad because of the season that those players have had? I mean, Wrighty has said, hasn't he? He said this is a squad full of winners, for even parking the last Euros success.
I think that's what you want. Like winning breeds winning. And I think from my personal experience, once you win once, you want to do it again and again, and you put in all the hard work, and then you get that priceless reward at the end. And I think, to have Arsenal obviously, and personally with Chelsea, I think it gives you that feeling, and you want it again and again, and it makes you put in the extra work and training, and it also gives you those experience in those big games that actually you're used to it. You're used to delivering, and you're used to the high pressure moments. So it's all experience that we can all individually bring in to contribute to, when we play for England. And I just think we're all winners here, and I think that only helps in the hard moments. That will to win definitely makes a difference.
Is Serena the kind of manager, Lauren, who will then tap into the most recent success of those players? So come on then, Arsenal players, tell us how you actually did that.
Yeah, obviously, like there's so much acknowledgement for the success that all the teams have had this season, and it's important to do that. Obviously, like Serena's got like a massive winning mentality, and she knows what it takes to win. As just like the majority of the squad, and that's so great to have because that mentality is contagious, and like everyone wants that, and that wants that feeling, like Niamh said. And like we've all got that desire, and that's so important to have as a group because that's why it's so competitive in training, because we all are so desperate to win.
What do you like about how Sarina Wiegman coaches you as a team and as an individual, both of you?
I think one thing about England in general I really like is that we all have our own club experiences, but as soon as we come here, we're very much one team and we're one England, and we take our own personal experiences, but it's very much we play for England and this is our team. And then I think with Serena, what I noticed from the start is her sort of clarity and detail about, okay, this is how we want to play, sort of, and staying consistent. And obviously we change within games, but staying consistent to those sort of key principles, that it really helps you to know what your role is and know what you can deliver. And in the hard moments, you sort of come back to that, and it allows all of the team to sort of be on the same page. And I think that's one thing I really like about it. And then, as Lauren referred to, as well as her every single day wanting to win, wanting to get better, that relentless sort of drive really like leads the team in that direction, I think.
Yeah, Lauren?
Yeah, I think like Niamh said, like the clarity and the detail, like we're very aligned as a squad. And for me personally, I think like she gives me the freedom to express myself, and I feel like she's the same with the majority of with all the team. Like she knows people's strengths, and she allows you to use that strength to the best of your ability. And yeah, she knows the players that she's got and how you're best going to get out of everyone.
Would you say as well that she's, this is a strong squad, and in some positions the competition is going to be really, really hot to start, but she is one of those coaches, isn't she, where you are a squad altogether. If you are on the bench, you're not a substitute. You're a finisher. That's the key, isn't it? You may not play the first 60, but you've got a job to do the final 30.
Go on, you go.
Yeah, I think like with Serena, what's so good is she gives clarity on everyone's roles, especially going into the tournament. Like everyone knows their job, and everyone's happy. Like obviously we're so proud to wear an England shirt, however that may come, whether you're starting, whether you're a sub, whether you come on at the end or not. Like everyone's got a role, and that like it's so important to have that, because you know where everyone stands going into the tournament and how you're gonna best help someone. Like you said, like the competition is so high, but it only makes the person who's got that shirt like push even harder, because there's someone just behind you like trying to get that shirt. And it's great to have, because it improves like the competitiveness and the mentality of the team.
You're nodding, Niamh.
Yeah, I think as well, like it gives equal value to the roles, that actually you have a huge role to play, and it's not just between the 90 minutes of the game in each game we play, it's across the recovery days. Are you preparing the team that starts the best way? Like you have a huge role to play, and there's equal value given to actually how are you contributing to the sort of environment and the atmosphere of the team in between the game days. It's not just about turning up on those 90 minutes, and if you're not in the starting 11, that your role is less of value. It's definitely, there's 23 players here and we all sort of play the role to the best of our ability. And I think everyone recognises that if you are a sub or a finisher, you have a huge role to play, and the value and how much that can make a difference.
Do you feel like defending champions? Leah Williamson said the other day she doesn't view herself as a defending champion. Do you feel like you're defending champions, or is that in the past?
I mean, like obviously it's important to recognise that like we are going into the tournament as defending champions. Like obviously what an incredible moment that was, and it's important to recognise that, but it's now like you've got to put that to bed, and like you're going in there the same as everyone else. Like we're going there to win another trophy, and it's important to have that. And like it's nice, like it obviously makes us feel confident, but like there's obviously like we're so respectful of every other team in the competition, because like you said, every tournament does look different, so we're going into a new one with a new group, and so we kind of just need to like put that to the side now and like just be our confident selves going into the tournament.
Do you think you're in the toughest group?
I think a lot's been said about that, but I think that's what you'd also want in a tournament as well, that it makes you don't think, oh, we've got an easier group, because then that's the wrong mentality. I think we go into it, no matter who we face, that we want to be best prepared for showing our best selves in our football. And I think the teams in our group are individually so strong, and it's going to be really exciting to watch, and it's going to bring out the best in ourselves, hopefully. And it means that to be the best, you've got to beat the best. And I think we expect in this tournament, no team is going to be easy at all. They're here for a reason. And so I think when you get to a Euro finals, you don't expect anything to be easy, and it is going to be really, really exciting from the very first game.
So much discussion about who isn't there in the build-up to this. I'm not going to go back over old ground, but one of the things that you actually realise when you look through the squad, and when you look at what people have done, and you wear the armband when Millie Bright isn't available for Chelsea, Niamh, as well. You have a lot of leaders still in this squad, don't you? I mean, you have a lot of leaders all over the pitch. Just because a couple aren't there, you still have people who have both led at international and at club level.
I think it's what I really like looking at and recognising is everyone leads in their own ways. And like Lauren, for example, she is a leader, but you wouldn't necessarily categorise everyone in the way they lead in the exact same way. But everyone to get to this level has been individually driven, and they are a leader in some capacity. And I think you want to bring that out, the way people naturally lead for each individual. And I think, we've lost some incredibly experienced players who were natural leaders, but to get to this point, everyone has that sort of leadership ability. And I think it's about recognising, actually, in this moment, this player is really good at leading, and empowering those players. Even if you're a younger player, you might not be experienced, but you have football experience. You know how to play the game. You're here, and not to be afraid to step up and lead. It's not all on the shoulders of the older players. I think everyone has leadership qualities that they can really bring out, and leadership can look very different for different players, but each different aspect can have massive contributions.
Izzy actually said to me the other night, Lauren, don't underestimate your leadership in all of this.
She.
Yeah.
Thanks, Izzy. I actually did some one-to-ones with her recently, just in preparation for
just chat?
No, training and stuff.
Oh, training, right?
Yeah. She's been really helpful. So thanks, Izzy, for the shout out.
Did you in those one-on-ones or one-to-ones?
1-2-1s.
Oh, right. I was going to say, on one-on-ones, I hope you absolutely skin her.
Yeah, I was doing 1v1s against Izzy. Beat her every time.
Confidence booster.
What were you working on with her then?
Well, a lot of things. You'll have to wait and see if I bring it out in the tournament.
All right, okay.
It's a secret.
Downtime in the tournament. And I've done a lot of tournaments, and the good thing about being in the media at tournaments is you can then just go out. It's slightly more different for you. What will you do with your downtime? Because it is important in these things, because they can be long old days. Some of them.
Spend a lot of time together.
Well, you both look utterly thrilled at the thought of that.
I am. She isn't.
Yeah, I think we all have our individual ways to relax, which is you do need some time to yourself. And I think, Lauren, has got really good ways of switching off. But then I think you also, as much as we're teammates, you have to remember you can park the football and go out just as friends. We are lucky that we do a job that means that you're with your friends as well as we're very professional and we are colleagues, but you can also have a really good time. So I think when there's time when we know it's time to switch on, we're fully switched on, but when it's time to switch off, you can sort of enjoy where you are. I think that's something also Serena tries to sort of put across to us, is that we want to enjoy that we're here. We work really hard, and in the afternoons go out and enjoy where we are. And England are good at facilitating where we stay, making sure that there's so much things for us to do, and facilitating friends and family time. So I think we always have things to do, and we're very, very lucky that where we're staying is beautiful. And yeah, we do spend a lot of time together, and we know each other inside out.
Are you able at all? I mean, the beauty of friendship sometimes, I suppose, is to be able to say, do you know what? I really can't go for another coffee today. I'm gonna go off and do something on my own.
Well, to be honest, I have been asking Niamh what she's doing now, and she's like, I'm busy. I'm like, right, okay. I'll just stand outside your room and wait for you to be done.
We can't peak too early. We've got a long time.
I'd go and find some other friends in the squad, Lauren, if I was you.
No.
It's not coming across particularly warm at the moment.
It's all
really.
one-sided.
You take it. Have you got your Lego with you as well?
Yeah, I have actually. I'm hoping to go and find some in Switzerland as well. But I've also recently been really into my cards. So we've got a little cards group going as well. And that's also really competitive. We're just like how we are on the pitch, really. So it gets a bit heated at times. But we like doing that as well to switch off.
So is that what card games is that then?
A lot of people haven't heard of the card games that we play. One's called Skull King. It's a bit hard to explain. One's called The Mind, but I haven't found anyone yet who knows what I'm talking about. So maybe someone on the podcast, please.
Have you? All right. Well, we'll find. You haven't devised these? These are.
No,
actual...
I haven't made the card game. I'm not that clever.
Yeah. She wouldn't be my go-to.
Yeah. God, Niamh's not coming for a coffee again. I better make up my own card game. Here we go. Where did you find them then? What are they called again? The Skull what?
Skull King and The Mind. Well, at City, to be honest, there's another one called Ligretto that we've been playing that's a bit more known. And at City, we play quite a lot of card games as well. So I've decided to bring them to England to see. And quite a lot of people enjoy doing it. So
Good. Excellent.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you. That's our 25 minutes done. I'm glad we've ended on some obscure card games that we can go and find out about. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to both of you. Wish you all the success over the next 5 or 6 weeks. Thank you very much for coming on. See you both soon.
Thank you for having us.
Cheers.
The Sports Agents
with Gabby Logan and Mark Chapman.